Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to graph a line that's given to you in point slope form. Here's your reminder of what point slope form looks like. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where m is our slope, x1 and y1 are the x and y values for one of the points that's on the line. Now, if you take a look at the equation that we have here in example 1, we have y minus 1 equals 1/2 times x plus 2. We could identify the slope here as that coefficient outside of the parentheses that have x plus 2 in them. So our slope for this equation is 1/2. The x value that's plugged into our equation, because point slope form has minus signs in the form itself, when we're identifying what the x value is, we have to switch the sign. So since we see plus 2 in the equation, that means the x value that was plugged in was -2. Since we see minus 1 in the equation next to y, that means the y value that was plugged in was actually +1. So now we have one of the ordered pairs that this line passes through, which is -2, 1. We're going to go ahead and plot that point on our graph. Now, starting at this point that we plotted at -2, 1, we're going to use our slope 1/2, which means we're going to rise 1 unit, run 2 units, and this is where we need to make our second point on this line. We can continue that pattern with our slope, rising 1 square and running 2 squares, or rising 1 unit, running 2 units, in order to make additional points on this graph. But once you have 2 points, you have enough points to graph a line, so we're going to grab a ruler and draw a line through those points. The only thing that I'm missing from this graph in order for it to be complete is the equation y minus 1 equals 1/2 parentheses x plus 2. For your graph to be complete, you have to label the original equation on the line. Now let's do that same thing again, but we're going to use the equation we have here in example 2. Y plus 1 equals -2 times x minus 2, where x minus 2 is in parentheses. So the easiest thing to identify is our slope, that coefficient outside the parentheses. So our slope for this equation is -2. The x value that's plugged into this equation, since we see it -2, then we know it has to be the opposite sign. So it has to be +2 as the x value in this equation. Since we see +1, we know that our y value for this equation is the opposite sign, so it's -1. Now I have my ordered pair for one of the points that this line passes through. So let's go ahead and plot that point at 2, -1. And now we're going to use our slope, -2, to rise and run to the next point that this line passes through. But since our slope is an integer, it's better for slopes to be written as fractions so that we see what the rise is and what the run is. And you can make any integer or any whole number a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So now I know I need to rise -2 and run 1. Or I need to go down 2 units and to the right 1 unit from the first point that I plotted in order to make my second point. Something important to note is that if you can't continue in the direction that you were going with adding additional points, then this slope, -2/1, is equivalent to 2 over -1, or rising 2 units and then running to the left 1 unit. And this is how we can add additional points in the opposite direction on our graph. But once you have at least 2 points, you can go ahead and grab a ruler, line that up with your points, and draw a line through those points to have that perfectly straight line. And then in order to be complete with your graph, you have to label the equation, the original equation, along the line. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.